Thank you. I wanted to talk about President Trump's deportation priority. The executive order titled Protecting the, I should say mistitled, Protecting the Nation from Terrorist Attacks by Foreign Nationals exaggerates the threat from refugees in the United States beyond recognition. Yes, it's conceivable that a terrorist could successfully impersonate a refugee and commit an attack, but the Cato Institute found that over the 41-year period between 1975 and 2015, when 3.2 million refugees were admitted, there had only been 3 terrorist attacks by refugees, and 3 people had been killed.
Immigration and refugee issues are pro-life issues. Just wanted to...
Is that refugees themselves do not threaten security, terrorists do, and the failure of states to address this crisis also undermines security. We're facing not a refugee crisis, but a crisis in refugee protection, which the executive order makes far worse. The most obvious security ramifications of this order are all negative. It will return refugees to situations of great insecurity, present a potent recruiting tool for ISIS and other terrorist groups, and make it far less likely that allied states and targeted immigrant communities will cooperate with U.S. counterterror initiatives, and that's a fact.
Good morning. It's our time to be the Good Samaritan. Regardless of what people who hate America expect, we know that because we're Americans, because of our Judeo-Christian heritage, it is our belief that we need to respond to them in a kind way, to welcome them and to give them an opportunity to make a life here. That's all they're asking, an opportunity to show that they do not intend any harm to Americans. They want to provide safety for their families and education for their children, to simply be able to work and provide for their families. Perspective, okay, I'm trying to remember. When I think about the children fleeing...
I think one of the issues for many of us in this country is that we can't imagine that the refugee is a person like ourselves. That many of the people that are now caught in camps or in horrible situations are people like ourselves who woke up one morning and learned that everything they had was destroyed. They'd lost their jobs, they'd lost their homes, they'd lost their land, and they fled for their lives. These are people just like us.
She said it was good that the executive order...
When we take any human being and put them in that situation of absolute despondency because of the loss of everything and the potential loss of their life, and then say, now just sit there for 4 more months or maybe 2.5 more years in this situation. I had occasion to speak to some people from Iraq, and ask them how they were doing. And the answer I received was stunning. We feel dead inside. Everything is gone. No one wants us. And most of all, we want our country and our land. So I think we have to stop objectifying them. These are human beings like you and I.
As you might suspect, we've really only scratched the surface of what each of these organizations could say.